Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Am I the idiot for throwing out my friend's girlfriend after she insulted me during a panic attack? Title sounds bad, but hear me out. I 22 meters have a small group of friends who decided to have a covered safe game night at my place. My friend Nick 23 asked to bring his new girlfriend Pam 20. I said sure, since none of us had met her yet, only been dating for 3 months, so it seemed the perfect way to introduce her to the group. The night comes. Nick and Pam are the last to arrive. She greets everyone and Nick introduces her to us all. I welcome her to my home and introduce myself with my full name. She went quiet and asked me to say that again. I was a little weirded out, but I told her my name again. Fake name, but let's say Andrew James Manson. She screamed and fell to her knees. Nick immediately consoles her and tries to calm her down. It turns out that she has a fear of serial killers. I share a last name with one from the state I live in because I am also, unfortunately, distantly related to him. It wasn't a big profile case that everyone around the country knows, but it's enough for some locals to wonder if I had a connection to him. This is considered pretty heavy information to most people, so I don't tend to tell it to everyone. My friends all knew at this point, but Pam didn't. Nick said she'd be okay in a while, but then she screamed, "How could you bring Emmy here, you monster?" That seemed really atypical, so I asked her what was wrong. She said that her great aunt was one of the victims and her body was never found. I told her that I'm sorry, but I can't control my genetics. I'm related to Charles Manson. Again, not the real name, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna kill anyone like he did. Then she screamed for me to get out and Nick told me to leave until she calms down. I snapped and that this is my house, so you should leave. He said to be reasonable and understanding because this is a hard thing for Pam to come down from. But here's where I may be the idiot. I grabbed my keys from the kitchen and when I went by the living room I heard Pam say, "I can't believe you brought me to a murderer's house." Double quote. So I snapped. I shouted at her that she has a lot of nerve acting this way the first time we meet her, and how dare she demand that I leave my home and call me a murderer. I grabbed her and Nick's things, threw them at them and demanded they leave right now. Pam wouldn't stop screaming and crying and Nick asked me to be reasonable. I told him to F off if he's okay with his girlfriend insulting me like this. After I kicked them out, our other friends began arguing about how I could be such a D to someone having a panic attack. The others defended me and think that Pam was out of line and Nick didn't do a damn thing to defend his friend against his girlfriend of 3 months. That it's her own fault for being overly dramatic and demanding just because of a panic attack and Nick is only enabling her. Nick has demanded an apology for Pam and him and I told them both it ain't gonna happen after the way she disrespected me. Everyone is split, but I feel like I'm in the right. Am I the idiot? Edit. So I'm gonna step away from this for a while, but a lot of the comments have raised a lot of good points. I thank everybody's input. I know this is a very strange situation. I understand how my distant relative impacted her family. That is painful. But he also impacted my family in many ways. Will not elaborate for the sake of privacy. The crimes in question all happened decades ago, before any of us in my group were even born. Also, the last name in question is not really Manson. I merely used it as an example. I have considered changing it down the line, but since it's a long and also costly process I am putting it off. Focusing on my college courses for now. Don't really know what sort of last name I may change it to eventually, but I'll see. The petty part of me started calling my place the murder house in the group chat with the friends on my side. How I think it's gonna stick. Edit 2. Hit the update button too quick, my bad. But also I am a little surprised by the amount of people who find it odd how I introduce myself with my full name. That's just a manner that my grandfather instilled in me. He always did the same and encouraged me to do the same. I just basically see it as being polite when I meet someone new, but I have never seen someone react this negatively before. Not the idiot. She should have excused herself, or, if she wasn't able to, her boyfriend should have escorted her away from everyone else until she calmed down. It's not your responsibility to coddle a hysterical and unreasonable stranger in your own home. Not the idiot. It's very sad about her aunt. but you are the killer just related to one. Sounds like she was just attention seeking, to be honest. Not the idiot. I feel bad for her, but the way she deals with it makes her an idiot. She shouldn't ask you to leave your own house. She should just leave. She made things even worse by commenting that you're a murderer, and now that she has calmed down, she still doesn't apologize to you for her unreasonable behavior during the meltdown. Nick is of course a major idiot, but I guess he just wants to appease his new girlfriend. Am I the idiot for telling my roommate's girlfriend that she's not woke if she's wrong? Husband, M28, and I, 25F, are ethnically Chinese from a sea country living overseas. We rent a house with S.O.'s college friend who moved his girlfriend, Anna, in during lockdown, and she's been with us ever since, with landlord's permission, and she pays her share of bills. They're not Asians, which matters. Anna was initially nice, but started acting very weirdly a month after she moved in. Telling S.O. and I that we can practice our real religion, which apparently is Buddhism, not Christianity, even though S.O. and I come from Christian families. She even bought incense, which gives me migraines, and a random Buddha statue. We politely explained to her that we're not Buddhists, but she continued to insist and promised that she didn't mind. Telling S.O. and I that we can speak our real language cause she overheard S.O.'s family talking to us in a mix of English and Cantonese. I explained to her that I can't speak Cantonese, S.O. can, even though I can understand it. She was, for some reason, really disappointed in me and said that I was throwing my heritage away. Plot twist, my own father is only comfortable speaking English. Buying raw internal organs for S.O. and I to cook, even though we don't eat those. I told her we don't eat that, not our thing, and she was again disappointed. She told us she read that there were lots of nice recipes and maybe we haven't found the right one to remind us of home. S.O. told her he's never eaten it ever in his life, and I've never liked it. She was really upset, but had to toss it since no one was gonna eat it. Chinese New Year was when things got really weird. She started ordering decorations. I wouldn't mind, but she had ordered hell notes, the ones burned for deceased ancestors. I immediately told her to stop pasting them all over the walls because they were weirding me out. She ordered banners with S.O. and my name on it, some bastardization of our legal English names, but they were written on white banners, again, for deceased people. I told her to please take it down. She got upset, again, but then ordered kabuki masks. I told her that those masks were not Chinese, and she just snapped. She started yelling at me that I should be helping her and not critiquing what she was doing. I told her. She never asked. Chinese New Year is not a big deal to me, so I wasn't planning on decorating, but if she had asked, I would have helped. She never asked. I told her I don't understand her fixation with us. She said she wanted to surprise me and S.O. that we've been so colonized we've forgotten our roots, and that we should be embracing our culture. I told her it was a nice gesture, but she needs to stop forcing stereotypes down our throats. She could have just asked, and she's not being woke when she's getting everything wrong. She burst into tears and brought in her boyfriend. He understood where I was coming from, but thought I could have been nicer. S.O. stands by me, and now things have been tense, but I've been tolerating this for a while now and it was getting on my nerves. Not the idiot. You're a hell of a lot nicer than I am. I would have snapped a lot sooner. I absolutely detest people thinking they know more about your own culture and acting all woke when they're A, annoying, and B, ignorant. Not the idiot. She wants to pretend she's so woke, yet she instantly turns to white woman tears when she doesn't get her way telling other people how their culture is done. Not the idiot. Why do people assume Asians can automatically speak an Asian language? I guess Latinos get this too. But nobody sees a black person in the U.S. assumes his first language is an African language. Am I the idiot for not splitting my inheritance with my stepfamily? Right, double quotation mark. F21. I've had a pretty crappy childhood. My dad was a junkie when I was born, and when I was 3 just picked up and left my mom and me. My older half sister, different dads, was not a pleasant person to be around, and my mom was so busy working I felt like I was really alone. When my mom died in 2011, my grandma took me in and things got a lot better. Don't get me wrong, I miss my mom every day, but my grandma provided a much healthier environment for me. My dad contacted my grandma in 2018 because he wanted to get in touch with me, but I shut that down. I wouldn't even see him, wouldn't talk to him or anything. Well, it turns out that he had turned his life around, gotten married and had a whole new family, but never had any other kids. He wanted to get to know me because he found out he had stage 5 pancreatic cancer, but I didn't want anything to do with him. I never contacted him back. Long story short, he died 6 months ago. I only found out recently because my stepmother contacted me about inheritance. My dad had left everything to me. It's not a life-changing amount, but he made me beneficiary of his life insurance $100,000, left me his savings, $35,000, and his house, which in this market I could sell for around $400,000. I mean, with this money I could have college paid for, buy a house and some investment properties, and still have a nice nest egg to fall back on in case of hard times. She gave me the contact information for the lawyer handling his estate. The problem is that his wife hadn't ever planned on working again. She had quit her job when she moved in with my dad and hasn't worked in 6 years. She was telling me that it would be wrong to keep all of the money, especially since I never made up with him, and that I needed to split it 4 ways so that she and my siblings could have an equal share. I told her she could pound sand because he abandoned for years and she got all the best parts of my dad, and all I got was the inheritance, and I hung up. I contacted the lawyer and everything is cut and dry. He left his wife and stepkids $100 each and left everything else to me, but I'm starting to feel bad for his wife. Would I be the asshole if I didn't split the money? I mean, my dad never did anything for me, so this last grand gesture is really all I'll have. Edit. They're living in the house and she's not on the title. I'm planning on hiring a property management company and writing up an official lease. I don't want to make them homeless and I'm not planning on selling the house right away, but I don't want to make any mistakes and lose the house by having her live in it. Thus the property management company. Also, not a life-changing amount is not the right wording. I'm typing this up before work, so thoughts are getting a little scrambled. I mean, I'm still going to work and stuff. It's not like I never have to work again in my life, which is what I mean. I'm going to talk to my grandma on my dad's side and see if I can figure out why my dad left his other family out of the will. Update. Okay, wow. I just got off the phone with my grandma. I messaged her on Facebook and she gave me her number. I called her during my break. Apparently my grandma hates my stepmom. I mean, I don't even know where to start. So I guess my dad wanted to reach out to me a lot sooner than he did, but his wife kept on convincing him not to because she was saying if he got in touch with anyone from his junkie days he would relapse. On top of that, they never actually got married. They had a ceremony 6 years ago, but they didn't sign any marriage licenses because they thought my mom was still alive and that he was married to my mom. She didn't want him to reach out for a divorce because again, he might have relapsed. And the nail in the coffin. She was almost certainly cheating on him. I don't want to get into all the drama about that whole thing, but the only reason he didn't throw her out is because she got rid of the proof and he didn't have any way to confirm it was more than sexting. For years. Basically, it was a dysfunctional marriage and by the end of everything he didn't have the energy to deal with her, so he just let her be. Personally, what I think is that she never wanted me to be part of their perfect family. If he had reached out to my mom for a divorce, then he'd probably want to reach out to me too. Not the idiot. You don't know his wife. You don't owe her anything. If your father left them each $100, he knew what he was doing. That inheritance is yours. Good luck on your future. Not the idiot. If he left them each $100, he intentionally did that. Your dad left you his estate and effectively told them to pound sand. You don't owe them anything. Not the idiot. When it comes to wills, no matter how fair, unfair or whatever they are the final wish of the deceased. That should be upheld. I'd say the same thing if your father had left it all to your stepmother. If he had wanted them to have more, he would have done so. He instead tried in some way to make up for how he failed you, so at least your future looks hella better than the childhood he caused. Am I the idiot for telling my roommate he can't have a red room? I had to put a euphemism in the title. I've never read 50 Shades of Grey, but I basically understand it means sex room. That's what he's trying to do. Our third roommate moved out, but we both make more money now and honestly don't want to invite a third person. My roommate wants to convert his old room into a sex haven. This guy doesn't even get laid a lot. I've never protested him doing it in his room. Now he wants a sex room. I think he's just been really horny in quarantine without a girlfriend. I told him we weren't going to have a sex room, and he told me I was being an asshole. I said that we both need to agree on what we do with the room, and I didn't want it to become a sex room. He asked me if I have any better ideas, and I admittedly don't. He said that it should at least become a sex room until I do, and he said it shouldn't even bother me because he won't be having anybody in there until quarantine is over. I asked what the point of having a sex room was then, and he asked me what the point of not having one is. I don't want a fucking sex room in my home. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. So many less weird options. Game room? Home exercise space? Guest room? If he wants a sex room, he needs to pay rent for that space alone unless he thought somehow this would be a shared space. Not the idiot. And as a woman, if I entered the home of two dudes and there was a sex room, I'd GTF. Oh, they're so fast. You said he doesn't get laid often anyway, so might be helpful to let him know the women of the internet have spoken, and if he wants to get laid at all, a sex room will have the opposite effect. Yikes. Not the idiot. And storage will be a better use of the room. Leaving it empty will be a better use of the room. Building a shrine to John Hugh would be a better use of the room. Just about anything will be a better use of the room.